Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action, spawning in the right-hand corner of the map, playing as his pride and joy, Gaia. It is Kvoth. His opponent today playing as what a lot of people believe is going to be the king of this patch. It's Thor and it's tags Recon. These are two of the absolute best defenders in the game. And you know what that means? That means fireworks. If there's two good defenders going up against each other, if there's two good aggressors going up against each other, you know that you're in for a really, really exciting, interesting game. So we'll see how this one's going to go. We've got arguably, for the faction, two of the more defensive gods, but, you know, obviously Freyr exists and Atlantean is an aggressive civ, right? So you've got a defensive god in an aggressive faction. Norse is obviously the most aggressive, and a kind of defensive god in another aggressive faction. So it's very, very interesting to see how these sorts of players kind of play inside of this sort of thing. Recon here, he's going for the early armory. He's going to be getting himself those armory upgrades nice and fast. He's already researching copper mail, trying to find himself an early game advantage. The more I do this, the more I realize this isn't that big of a deal. A lot of players might disagree with me and say, this is always going to be absolutely broken or absolutely bonkers or absolutely busted. You know, whatever expletive, whatever word, whatever kind of emphasis you want to put onto it. Yes, you start the game with 4 more villagers than your opponent potentially. 5 more villagers than your opponent. But the cost is 110% there. The cost is that you're not able to advance to the second age very fast, which does mean that if your opponent is going for a Dwarven Armory start, this is something you can very easily scout out. The correct response pretty much every single time is actually just to grab yourself a town center. So that's how you sort of get the advantage over someone who is taking the slow route to the classical age. So I wouldn't be surprised here to see Kvoth rushing up a nice, quick second town center with Gaia. On top of this, Bragi did get some nerfs. So Thor clicking flaming weapons is going to be a little bit less scary to face, which should mean that someone playing a 2-town center defensive game, they're going to take damage from that flaming weapons. But they're probably not going to lose. They're probably going to survive. It's probably going to be okay. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen in this one, because you never know. Maybe it's going to be a frost angle from Recon. Maybe Kvoth isn't going to go for 2-town center. He's going to go really aggressive. You never know. These players like to shake it up. We do see a little bit of a difference here from Kvoth. He is actually on wood and gold, and he's not going to be going aggressive. So it's not that different, actually. He's going to be going for a fast second town center. On the map Megalopolis, you can get some amazingly defensive town centers. Look at this one. You've got double elephant. You've got a gold mine over here as well. Same too for Recon with the double elephant and gold mine up here. Relics on the map. We've got Ship of Fingernails. Going to be giving that food trickle in. Over onto this spot, we've got Sharon's Obel here. A little bit of... This one actually did get buffed recently as well, did it not? No? Gatherer's 25 food, 30 gold? No, it didn't. I thought all of the weak relics got buffed, but maybe this one was left in the not 100% sure side of things. Ankh of Ra here, sitting on this little side as well. There's only the 3 relics, but it will be Oceanus, and I imagine there's that 4 set. And look at how late Recon is going to the next stage. Yes, he's got himself going on 4 villages over his opponent, but his opponent is going to be on a second town center a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes before his opponent. So that is all advantage all the way for the fast second town center play. Now, obviously, the Thor player can do this and then get their town center later, but then they're just kind of equal or maybe even behind based on how fast this second or even third town center is to come on. So let's get excited about it. I'm very, very interested to see which way Kvoth is going to go. He has been testing out some automaton sort of Leto theory. There's also the recent buff with Rhea, which I think is going to be an angle to go down some of the time for Gaia. Not 100% sure if against Thor either of those angles are actually decent. So we are seeing Oceanus. Oceanus seems to me to be fairly important to deal with a lot of stuff. You've also got the Gaia Lush to spread around and give yourself a huge advantage on the map. We are seeing that Ankh of Ra. Up. Who's going to get there? It's going to be close. No, it's not. Kvoth gets it. And Recon has to walk all the way back with his big hammer in hand and cry to himself. It is what it is. Nonetheless, Kvoth gets himself an Ankh of Ra. He's got himself Oceanus. He's playing up against Forseti. Forseti is the god to beat, really, for Norse. Like, when you go into it and you go, what are the big, strong Norse gods in this patch? I don't really even think Thor is, in of itself, like, insanely strong. I think Thor plus Forseti. I think Loki plus Forseti. Loki's got Heimdall. It's not terrible. I don't think it's amazing. Thor's got Freya. Again, not terrible. I don't think it's absolutely cracked busted. Forseti is really, really good. So I would be surprised to see anyone seriously playing Thor and not taking Forseti in the majority of matchups. There's some matchups where I think it's okay, or not okay, but actually the correct choice. But this is definitely going to be one of those Forseti matchups as Kvoth already onto this gold mine. I wouldn't be surprised to see him attempt to get down into this bottom corner here nice and early, throwing up a mana or something, spreading that lush out, getting channels is very, very quick as well. He has his upgrades coming in, both players. We've already got pickaxe in for Recon, for Kvoth. He's only got his early game upgrades. He does like to get these quite early, I've noticed. So we'll see if he's going to go that angle or not. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, when it comes down to it, if you are playing against a defensive player and you know you're playing against a defensive player, someone who doesn't really want to attack you, oftentimes you can just say, all right, I don't have to worry about timings. I'm going to more gear myself into sort of that late game power. And the late game power for Gaia is going to be some form of Dryad Myth Unit Hecate shenanigans. We have seen that Implode got nerfed a little bit. I already said it recently, but I have been getting the feeling that Implode, even before it got nerfed, maybe wasn't the most accurate of decisions, at least some of the time. Now I'm more inclined to say, I haven't seen the exact effect of what the patch has done to Implode, but now I'm even more inclined to say that, you know, Hecate is going to be seeing quite a lot here from Gaia. Hecate is going to be seeing a lot. Why am I saying Hecate's even good even before the Implode nerf? Well, the reason is that you get access to Celerity, you get access to Mythic Rejuvenation, and all of a sudden your Dryad, Lampede, Stymphalian Bird, Automaton, Promethean, those type of, obviously every myth unit, but those type of myth units are going to be really, really affected quite a bit to help you out. So it's really, really nice. And you can actually go for a really fast third Hesperid's tree as well at only, I say only, at 125 favor. You can get yourself out 3 Hesperid's trees, get yourself a ton of those, Deuterinos, those Dryads, and 15 to be exact, and they can be really, really strong. Now, Recon at the moment, he's on 2 town centers. You noticed he went for a later town center. Look at the difference in villages. That early game advantage, where'd it go? It's gone. There is no advantage to be had here. The Gaia is in a good spot. You see some forward buildings coming up as Recon's going to try and secure the center, town center. We see some trolls coming out. No surprise there. Already 12 Herser with the Hammer of Thunder technology. Going to be boosting the Favor Gather rate up 100%, so up to 0.02. So you've got a lot of favor income coming through as the Murmillo raids coming in, just searching around to get some kills, and we do indeed see they are. So unfortunately, for those dreaming, wishing, wanting a little cheeky bit of, as the army does get a little bit of damage here, wishing you saw a little bit of rear here, it's not going to be coming through. Murmillo will get taken out, and Kvoth simply just going to be retreating back into his main base, healing back up his units. His villagers have to retreat back. He does have a couple of Kyra Ballistar. This here is an interesting unit. Now, is it good or not? That's the question. I don't know. They got a significant buff in terms of consistency. They're going to hit the arrows much, much more from range, which should mean they are really good at holding on to a position. As Recon pushing forward with a ton of units. He's got a big military advantage right now, but Thayer is now in. We see the Hesperid's trees getting dropped down. That Channel's technology is coming through, and he's going to be getting himself some Arcus out, which are going to be really good against this army, which Recon's constructed. Recon's only infantry, so a huge amount of Arcus here is going to make a lot of sense. In fact, it makes so much sense that this seems to be the correct answer to a lot of what Norse does, is just massing out Arcus. Because they don't have a great, well, they do have raiding cavalry, but against the speedy Gaia lush shenanigans, those Arcus are going to be very tough to deal with. And with already having a little bit of a front line with those Momillo, it's going to be a nice one. As we see the third town center up in the center of the map here for Recon, going to try and claim everything. I wouldn't be surprised to see him rush straight up to 4 town centers at the moment, as he is going up through Brugg. He's got full map control. He's got the military advantage. So 4 town centers at this point. That's going to be a big advantage for him cooking him, as town center going to be thrown up, and Kvoth looking to get some pressure on into the center of the map. Those Dryads are actually really good at taking this position out. There are a couple of trolls, but without any cave troll upgrade, the unique upgrade for the troll, they're a little bit underwhelming. Once you get the cave troll, they're really strong. As we see some more longhouses coming down, and the town center here looks like Recon doesn't even want to attempt to defend this. So he probably made maybe a slight miscalculation about how much he can actually manage to do in this spot, but losing the center town center. Kvoth's going to maintain his villager lead here for the moment. He's getting himself heavy infantry, as the heavy infantry is going to be coming through for Recon as well. Thank you so much for the raiding party, May Shadowfax. Hope your stream went really well. And we actually already see him pre-queuing up champion range soldiers, so his intentions are clear. I don't see a palace up just yet, so he's going to be a ways away from getting that. The villagers, recognizing that they're a little bit in trouble here, will retreat back. They've got themselves a nice little bunch of monkeys down the bottom. As Kvoth does have to be a little bit careful. He doesn't have any Gaia Lush set up just yet. We are seeing him moving forward with the Economic Guild, as Kvoth realizes a little bit of pressure here is going to go a long way. It's going to go a very long way, but he needs to be careful not to get too overconfident with this army, because this is going to, flaming weapons is always going to be able to come out. We also see this Thurazaz? Is that how you say it? I don't know. This rune coming in for Recon, which you don't see get researched all too much, but what it does do is it gives some HP regen. It's a tiny bit of HP regen on the myth units. Now, he does also have Healing Spring, but it's on the other side of the map. As the Longhouse is getting cleaned up, and now Kvoth is going to be able to take the center settlement here and be in a good spot. They do get a speed buff as well, but, you know, trolls are already so slow that I mean, it's more important on the battle boards, I would say, because they get a significant amount of speed. Like, when you get a percentage speed buff on something and it's already low in speed, it feels like it doesn't have as much impact as something with relatively high speed getting the same percentage. It's going to go up much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But town center up for Kvoth nonetheless. We do not see a hill fort just yet for Recon. Kvoth, he's going to be throwing up a palace on this top position here, as he will finish up the town center, but this might be Flaming Weapons angle here. Now, you have to remember, look at these Arcus, 4.6 speed. They are getting away quickly as the town center does complete. There are some Momillo coming over here to hold on. Now, if Kvoth can get some kiting action in here, it's going to be really nice. The Momillo coming around onto this position. We see the Caladria getting dropped down. There is the Flaming Weapons, as we get to see our first little look at how useful this God Power is going to be, as the Momillo needs to retreat back. And Kvoth says, I don't want any part of this. These units are doing too much damage. 15.6 over here, 14.4 over here, 14.4. Again, the Arcus pulling back. He's got a nice little choke point he can dive into over here. This looks like it's not quite open, but nonetheless, he's going to be hiding back, getting more of those Dryads out, trying to hold on here. It looks like Recon is overcommitting ever so slightly into this position. The Dryad tanking up quite a bit here, as those Arcus are just delivering hellfire in the shape of a bunch of arrows as the middle town center, excuse me, is looking like it's going to be suffering another destruction as it's going very quickly down. Kvoth does have the top town center up as well, so he's now the one on 4 town centers to 3 town centers. He's held over here, and now the Arcers are going to be able to charge in and defend on this position. One thing that Recon hasn't done here is actually taking out these buildings to deny the lush. And you also have to remember that Gaia buildings do actually regen a little bit by themselves. It's not much, but it can be enough to kind of make that town center survive over a long battle. 500 HP remaining, could have been closer to like 200, and that might have meant that he wanted to stay there and finish it off. But probably not that much, actually. Probably closer to like 400 HP if there was no regen. Nonetheless, my point stands. Kind of. The lower the HP, the more it makes your opponent want to push through. As look at the resources now piling in for Recon. Kvoth is in a good spot himself. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hecate here. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Bragi coming through for Recon. Maybe not to go for the Ragnarok right off the bat, but more so to go for Fire Giant and Sons of Slipnir and something to deal with that Arcus ball. It's a really, really difficult thing to deal with. There's a whole bunch of raiding cavalry coming in. We've got the Goaty coming through. Berserk's coming through as well. As it's just going to be Arcus all the way, it seems. Palace on the way. Another, or the first of many, it's going to seem, Dwarven Gold Mines coming in. This is another reason why I think Thor is in a really, really good spot. Because unlike, well, okay, so Odin does have an innate hunt bonus, but that only is going to last for the amount of hunt on the map. Thor is going to have this Dwarven Mine many, many times over, as we do see a little bit of a raid onto the bottom here. Recon trying to get cheeky on that gold mine. Kvoth says, no, there's only going to be one cheeky gold mine grabber in this game. But nonetheless, it looks like both players right now are, simply put, going to be going to the next age here, as it looks like it will actually be Atlas. So we're going to see how this implode is going to actually behave here. Now, center in the center here is yet again going down, as Kvoth, he gets a little bit of damage on the bottom, but he does lose his town center for it, and potentially also the palace. But his army is still looking very, very strong, as the villagers attempting to repair this one back up. They do not have themselves, well, they do have hunting equipment here. We'll see if we can actually clean the palace up. Does it have any buildings upgrades? It does have mason, so that will be a big assistance on this one. It's the raiding cavalry swinging in here onto the bottom. There's not that many of them, so the Arcus will deal with them very, very quickly. But the palace in the center looks like it will go down. Recon, no, it won't go down. It survives with barely any HP. Recon gets the town center back up, and for the third time in this game, it looks like this town center is going to be destroyed. This is very, very big here for Kvoth, as he's going to be the one on the aggressive here. He managed to get Atlas. He managed to get the Mythic Age through, and to be quite frank, I don't see Recon, if he's going to have to continue to fight here, being able to win these. He's charging it. He gets our flaming weapons off here as the town center is at 80 HP. He's going to repair it back up. It looks like he doesn't. It goes down. Kvoth retreats back here, tries to deal with those raiding cavalry. But look at the damage they're doing here. 18 at the moment. As Mamilo will come through to save the day on this position. The town center going back up yet again, as these players, they know how important that center is going to be in this game. Palace goes down. The Arcus sitting, waiting, watching. Atlas is a mere seconds away with the implode incoming. There is 10 seconds left of flaming weapons here, however. And what is the plan for Kvoth? You can't just lay it down in the center here, can you? As he drops it straight onto this position, the army completely retreating away. It looks like a bit of a whiff from Kvoth, but half of the army does manage to escape as the rest gets sucked in, and that implode was underwhelming if I've ever seen an underwhelming implode. Now we see a third Hesperid's tree, however. So here's where the questions lie. How much does this actually give Kvoth. He's got access to 15 dryads in this game. If you can get up to full population, get 15 dryads out, what are they realistically giving him value-wise? I place them with full upgrades in the Mythic Age at about just over 3 population. I would say maybe 3.5, but let's just go with 3. So you're getting 45 population there with the 3 Hesperid trees over your opponent. The town center, it's only giving you so much population. So even with this town center advantage, Gaia has still got a pop advantage going into the Mythic Age. And you can see Recon preparing for the Dryad spammage. He's got himself the Goaty out, and they will deal with those Dryads nicely. Walls coming up here for Kvoth, a little bit on the late side here. We are going to have that tier to come through after all is said and done. The villagers coming back in to drop the town center on this position. As the hill fort here, looking like it's going to be in a bit of trouble. Going for these mini raids. It's only a handful of raiding cavalry. The citizen are going to come over here and try and deal with this. As the Arcus charging through here. There's also Fanatics in on the mix as well. He's got 5 of them. These things with Bite of the Shark are incredibly tough to deal with. As the army for Kvoth is looking very, very scary. Champion infantry also queued up. It's a while away with a little bit of a lack of gold in the bank. Meanwhile, just these 3 raiding cavalry hanging here are going to be really annoying. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just send some of those Dryads down there and deal with it. But now Kvoth's got 260 pop. He's going to have all the Dryads in the world. And his army is going to be full champion. This is a scary, scary Gaia, as the Fire Siphon going to be rolling in onto this position to try and take out that hometown center. Not that hometown center, that second town center here, as the army charging through. Recon is waiting at Fimbulwinter because he knows Fimbulwinter, it's going to hit 4 town centers and there's going to be a spawn on top of this army, most likely, as the army gearing up to come through. The Fire Siphon more than enough to continue sieging away at this town center here. We'll see a couple of units getting converted in as Recon looking to dive through. He's waiting patiently for the Fimbulwinter, but will it be enough or not? There's the Fimbulwinter. The wolves spawn on every single position over here. Everywhere here for Kvoth needs to garrison in, as those Arcus, they're trying to actually take out the wolves over here. They are myth units, I believe. Yes, are they? I'm pretty sure they're myth units. Nonetheless, it looks like he deals with the ones on the front side. The 4 town center looks like it's about to go down. This is looking like Kvoth is in a commanding position just because he's not losing any units in this fight. It doesn't matter that he's gathering no resources. Look at his army value. He's got 8,700 and he's got those Dryads coming through. The Goaty in the back, they will be getting some good damage done. They did get buffed. They're doing 6x bonus damage versus myth units here. But Kvoth can just focus them down with his Arcus if he wants to. His villagers are going to be back to work here. Can he hold on this spot with all of his stuff or not? As a couple of hero Arcus coming in to deal with the Fenris Wolf and everything else that's going to come in. A Ford Economic Guild to spread that lush even more, as it looks like Kvoth decides he may be having a little bit too many Arcus. He does have a nice handful of Fanatics here as well. If you say he's got 3 palaces producing, plus he's got that Devotees of Atlas technology, which will boost his damage as hit points are lost, and the speed as well, as some of those big bad boy Huskal coming through, but there's not that many of them at the moment. Recon does have 4 hill forts. He doesn't have Levy. That's a really important upgrade. I recommend grabbing that Levy on your hill fort. So that's going to take the Huskal, which are now at 7.5 seconds, all the way down to close to 5 seconds train time. 20% reduction or something, right? You do the math, I can't do it. But that really gets you pumping them out, and then all of a sudden you get full population. You can actually get some serious damage done. There's the longhouse getting cleaned up over here. Up onto the top, though, Hill Fort going down. Recon's situation in this game is looking a little bit dire. Now, the advantage that Recon can get here is he's got Norse economy, he's got Thor economy with Dwarven Mines, and he's got an extra flaming weapons coming. He's just got to wait 3 favor. Half a minute. Less than half a minute. A third of a minute. 20 seconds. And you will be able to get that next flaming weapons in, get a huge pushback, and try and make something happen. Question is flaming weapons enough to make up for nearly 5,000 resources, 4,000 resources worth of army? Kvoth now leaving on this position, more palace coming down. Remember, the palace did get buffed, so they are hitting like a truck in this position when you get a whole bunch of them up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see even more of them coming through, as now Recon is going to just get his town center back. This might be an incorrect move here. We will hit the gold mine. Getting a couple of villager kills over here is going to be nice. Recon retreating back. Kvoth going to be pulling his army back up to the top here to try and take this fight. Remember, there is going to be a flaming weapons. No, there's not a flaming weapons. He used Dwarven gold mine, so he's going to have to wait a little bit longer for that follow-up. The Godi over here need to focus down the Dryads. Will they be able to get onto them or not is the question, as those Arcus coming through here trying to deal with the Godi on the back. They're doing a nice job. We aren't really seeing the Dryads getting created that much at the moment. I mean, Kvoth's getting himself Fanatics, Murmillo, Arcus in to replace everything. He's sitting at full population, not really dropping any population, whereas Recon here is just not able to hold on in the slightest. You see Arcus is still getting good damage done. There's really no throwing axemen to deal with the Murmillo either. It looks like Recon is trying to go basically Godi, Huskal, Berserk. Now the Berserks will be really strong. They've got obviously Berserker Gang, Call of Valhalla, Mithril Breastplate. They're hitting like a truck, but the Fanatics, they beat the Berserk very, very simply. Whole bunch of villagers now coming through in an attempt to take this town center and go up even more population in this game. Recon not wanting to allow it. There's the villagers here trying to take it down, but it looks like 3 seconds remaining. It's going to go up, and all of a sudden, Kvoth is up to 285 max population. He's got fortified town centers. The town center also prevents the trade route for Recon, and in that moment, Recon has to tap out, and Kvoth reigns supreme with his Gaia. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you heard it here first. I don't know if I have to see much more. Gaia is still an absolute menace on this patch, but for completely different reasons than were before thought. The more you see these top players developing these sorts of strategies, the more you're going to see a whole bunch of different things evolving. Gaia is a menace. It looks like so strong. Got to give credit where credit's due. Kvoth played this one impeccably. I love the fast second town center in reaction to the fast Dwarven Armory here. I loved going for a couple of Murmillo into the heroic gauge. I think that was really, really smart. I liked Recon's idea of trying to grab town centers, but it turns out that maybe he did a little bit too late or something, didn't quite read the situation. Really well played by Kvoth to convert on the advantage that he managed to come up with here. Let's take a look at these resources and just see. You can see that the Thor economy, this thing is carrying him through in this game in a big, big way. But, you know, Gaia's economy also really strong. We didn't actually see the Gaia economy kick into full gear here, as the market in the corner over here going potentially up to this town center was the best one. He's only now just started it looks like, right here, 44 gold. If you've got the llama caravans on Gaia Lush, plus you've got coinage upgrade, they are very, very good. Very, very good. Nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I don't know if it's a Norse patch just yet. I think Gaia is going to be very, very happy here. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.